Have you ever woken up in the morning, and before your feet even touched the floor, already felt like you were losing? You picked up your phone, and there it was. Someone's promotion. Someone's new home. Someone's perfect life. Sitting right there on your screen, making yours feel small. If you have ever felt that heaviness, stay with me, because this story was written for you. His name was Ethan, 26 years old, kind, honest, hardworking, and absolutely silently exhausted. Not from working too much, but from something far heavier than work. He was exhausted from never feeling like enough. It started with Jake, his closest friend since childhood. Jake got promoted. The whole office celebrated him. And Ethan sat at his desk that day, smiled, clapped, while something deep inside him quietly broke. Then came Sarah. Sarah bought a house. A real house with a garden and a front door she painted herself. And Ethan lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling of his small rented room, asking the question that had slowly become the story of his life. When is it my turn? One evening it became too much. He walked out of his apartment with no destination, just away. Because sometimes the mind gets so loud that your feet just have to move. He wandered into the old part of the city. Narrow streets, stone walls, a quieter world. And there, behind an ivy-covered wall, he found a small garden. It stopped him completely. Not because it was grand, but because it was alive. Every flower in its own space, every plant growing in its own direction, and tending to it quietly, was an old man named William. White hair, slow hands, peaceful eyes. Without looking up, William spoke. "You look like a man carrying something very heavy." Ethan almost laughed. "That obvious? Always." The old man said gently, "Come sit." They sat together as the evening grew dark around them. And Ethan told him everything. The comparisons, the sleepless nights, the feeling of standing still while the whole world moved forward. William listened. No interruptions. No advice. No empty comfort. He simply listened. And when Ethan finished, the old man stood slowly and said, "Come, there is something I want to show you." He led Ethan to the far corner of the garden. And there, against the stone wall, bloomed a single rose. Deep red, almost glowing in the evening light, the most beautiful thing Ethan had ever seen. "I planted this rose in early spring," William said, "alongside those sunflowers at the entrance." Ethan looked at the sunflowers. Tall, golden, magnificent. By July, those sunflowers were 5 feet tall. People stopped on the street just to admire them. Then William looked back at the rose. This rose did not bloom until October. 3 full months after the sunflowers. 3 months of people walking past and seeing only leaves and thorns. He turned to Ethan. "Did I ever consider removing it? Did I ever stand here in July and call it a failure?" He shook his head. "Never. Because I knew one thing the rose could not yet see about itself." He spoke slowly, deliberately. "The rose and the sunflower are not the same plant. They were never meant to bloom at the same time. Each one was given its own season. And if I had spent October wishing this rose had bloomed in July, he gestured to that breathtaking flower, I would have missed the most beautiful bloom of the entire year. Something shifted inside Ethan. Not like a thunderclap, but like a door slowly opening, letting in a light he had forgotten existed. Every morning, William said, ask yourself one question. Not am I ahead of Jake? Not have I done more than Sarah? Just this. Did I grow a little today? That is the only race worth running. You against who you were yesterday. Nothing more. Nothing less. Ethan walked home that night. And for the first time in years, he did not feel behind. He felt like a rose in September. Not yet open, but growing. The months that followed were not easy, but they were different. He stopped measuring his life against other people's highlight reels and started building his own quiet story. One skill, 1 hour at a time, one step, one day at a time. 1 year later, Ethan was not where Jake was. He was not where Sarah was. He was exactly where Ethan was meant to be. And for the first time in his life, that was everything. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not a flower that failed to bloom. You are simply a different flower, growing in a different season. The rose never apologized for blooming in October. It simply kept growing, quietly, faithfully, in the exact time it was always meant to. And when its season came, it was the most breathtaking thing in the entire garden. So stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 10. Your season is not late. Your season is not wrong. Your season is simply yours. Keep going. Keep growing. And trust the time you are in. Because the bloom that comes in its own season is always the most beautiful one. If this story reached you at the right moment, share it with one person who needs to hear it today. And subscribe to Timeless Life Lessons. Because every day, we bring you a story that stays with you long after the video ends.